Hello, gorgeous peoples. I'm in bed all tucked up, all live. Like, I've come live out of the blue just to have a chit chat with my subscribers because we don't very often do this. I'm not doing a reading, I'm in bed. So I just thought I would come live and chit chat. So, where are my Libras? Where are you? I should have bought some munches actually before I got tucked in. I can't move now. Hello. Hello. Hey. I'm all tucked up. Hey. I'm all tucked up. I decided to come live just to say hello. Hey. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lovette. I'm all tucked up in bed, but I decided that I was going to go live for a chit chat, just because we don't very often do this. If I go live normally and I got to do readings, I can chit chat and interact with you lot. So I decided to go live so that I can interact with you lot. And I'm all tucked up in bed, and I can't move. I can't move because I'm not under there, like. So I'm all tucked up. How is everybody? You all right? You all good? Hey, Marie. How is everyone doing? You all good? So, has everybody had a good day? It's nighttime here, so I'm just wondering, has everybody had a good day? All good from the way from Australia, Susan. I'd love to go to Australia. I've never been. It's like a 24-hour flight here to go to you, and I don't like flying. I don't like flying. I get on a plane because I'll never go anywhere if I didn't. But I'm really not keen on flying. And if I'd have to fly 24 hours, that would drive me nuts. I think I would probably freak out. I'd have to take a Valium, I think, to I'd have to get on a plane for that long. I couldn't not. I think I don't like the taking off, and I really don't like the landing, and I really don't like the turbulence. But once it levels out, I'm all good. If I freak out before that, silently, I don't tell anybody else. Nobody else well knows, and other than the people sat next to me, and I kind of like fidgets, and I'm like, but otherwise, I'm all right. I'd never go anywhere if I didn't get on a plane. But I'm not a good flyer at all. I really don't like it. I stress out. And you get a slightest little bit of turbulence, and I want to cry. But I will have to try and do it. Like if I could split the journey up in a few kind of journeys, then I probably would get there eventually. But I don't know how long that would take me. But is everyone doing all right? Everyone good? Yeah, I hate the taking off as well. It's like it does freak me out a little bit. I gotta be honest. I went to Los Angeles once, right? I won a competition on TV because I really wasn't competent, and so I won a competition to be hypnotized. Not many people know this, right? But it was a few years back now. It was like 2011, something like that. And so they flew us to Los Angeles, and I took about 7 Valium just before we took off. I was like, God, they thought I was dead. I literally cried. I thought, well, I'd rather be asleep than know what's going on. And they real like freaked out because I was totally out of it, completely out of it. And they to a point where they had to keep checking my pulse to see if I was breathing. I wasn't doing it to overdose. I just didn't want to know what I was doing on that plane. I just didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to take off, get there, and not know anything about it. I didn't realize that 7 was gonna like do damage. Like, I was fine, clearly, because I'm all right here, but I was fine. But I just like freaked out to a point. And that was the whole point. When I got there, he hypnotized me to have confidence in myself because I was like lacking in confidence a bit and to be able to get on a plane. And basically, he hypnotized me and I'm all good now. So, well, I'm not, I wouldn't say that confident still, but I'm better than I was. I'm definitely better than I was. And yeah, it's really weird because I've been traveling backwards and forwards since I was about 7 or 8 to Canada. But that's 6, 7 hour, that's 7 hour flight, 7, 8 hour flight. And I always felt like that wasn't too bad because I had my sister with me. So we'd go together backwards and forwards. Valium is good. Trust me, I didn't even know nothing. I didn't realize that they were all around me panicking. I was asleep. I was fine. I didn't know anything about it until I woke up. And they were all like really panicking and saying, Tonya, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm all good. I'm good. I was just asleep. I was just didn't want to know about it at all. So that was the thing. So, what's your experiences being on a plane? Yeah, I know. I trust me, I didn't mean to I didn't do it to overdose. I never did it to overdose. I did it just because I didn't want to know what I just didn't want to feel anything about that plane ride at all. I just wanted to get on the plane, go asleep and not know about it until I got there. I never did it to cause damage. It wasn't like I never did that for that reason. I was just terrified about being on a plane. I was terrified. And so basically, kind of overdosed a little bit by accident, not on purpose. Not on purpose to cause damage, but yeah, I did that. I know. I was like, I just wanted to go to sleep. That was my way of thinking. I didn't realize I was good. Like people were worried about me because I was asleep and they couldn't wake me up and they thought that there was some proper like damage being done. But no, I was fine, clearly. I'm here. That was like years ago. That was about 2000 and say 11, something like that. And so anyway, they hypnotized me. I had to go up into Los Angeles, all up into the Hollywood Hills, up by the Los Angeles, the Hollywood sign and everything. And I went to Paul McKenna. So does anybody know the hypnotist, Paul McKenna? Because I went to his house all up in the Hollywood Hills. He don't live there now. He's moved now since then. But I went up there and basically it was owned by the Rolling Stones before Paul McKenna had it. And so so I went to his house and it still had all the original kind of features from the Rolling Stones. So it was something like a 10-hour flight. And I didn't want to know about it. I didn't want to know about it. So I just kind of like took those tablets and fell asleep. And as far as I was concerned, I was fine. I didn't know nothing about it until I got there. So I was fine. But obviously, it is dodgy taking out money and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But at the time, I was terrified. Yeah. So does anybody know Paul McKenna, the hypnotist? Because that's who I went to see. He was a hypnotist. He's a really famous hypnotist here, but he used to have a lot of shows and everything. And I won a competition to be hypnotized by him. And then he contacted me about a week later, and I was on holiday at the time. And he called me while I was on holiday, but they had to film me getting on the plane, and I was actually fine getting on and off that one. And that went long after after he hypnotized me, so it wasn't too bad, you know. It was quite an experience to flow that way. Jenny Fraser. Hey girl. I'm in bed. I decided that I was gonna like just go live randomly and just for a chit chat, just to see how you lot are doing. That was all. It was a random live chit chat, and I'm all tucked up in bed. You wanted to meet. Do you know Paul McKenna? Do you Al Hakim? Do you know him? Have you met him? You get scared, do you, Susan? I tell you what. I mean, I'm not so bad as I was, but I know Ozzy Osbourne. I know it's sad, isn't it? R.I.P. to Ozzy Osbourne. Like, you know, to all the Ozzy Osbourne lovers out there. What made me laugh was the Coldplay, the affair coming out. Going like we was watching that on Sunday. Like I was sat outside like our van that we were at in a field when I went away with my friends, and I went onto Instagram and I was like, oh, somebody just got rumbled for having an affair. Coldplay called it out, Chris Martin called it out, and it went like viral. And it was like literally just on one or two videos when I saw it, and then later on it was like everywhere. He said they're either having an affair or they're very shy. And so it kind of came out everywhere. Like, and it clearly was. I mean, I seen a message about his wife put up something like that. I mean, that's all gone viral, hasn't it? Flying gives you motion sick. I'll tell you what, it kind of makes me, I get like sweaty palms, I get anxious, I get like anxiety, and I can't keep still. I get sweaty palms and everything. And I kind of like wants to rock backwards and forwards, and I get all hot and sweaty, and I can't stand it. But once the plane levels out and there's no more turbulence, I'm all good. I can get up and walk around then. It's like if it's the initial kind of like um taking off I don't like, and the landing and the turbulence. Otherwise I'm good with you go downhill, you feel fear going downhill. Oh, well, this feels like you're all in here with me. You had a frost, Jenny. You had a frost this morning. Southern New Zealand. New Zealand is very similar to weather-wise to England, I think. I think you get very similar weather. It's very rainy, and I think we get a lot of rain. So I think like our weather system is very similar. Diazepam's all right if you take one or maybe two most, but I took seven all in one go. I just wanted to go to sleep and just not know I was on that plane. I was like freaking out. I just didn't want to get on that plane at all. I don't know why. I had anxiety to start with. And so I decided that I was just going to just keep taking them and go to sleep. Well, I was apparently fast so asleep, they thought I was dead. They thought I was out for it. I didn't mean to scare anybody. I just didn't want to know about the plane. I just wanted to go to sleep and get there and wake up and be okay. I didn't mean to scare anybody, and I didn't do it to cause any damage. I was just so terrified. That was all. Yeah. Huh. It's good to see you a lot too. I just decided to go randomly live. I'm in bed now. It's like it's 10:30 here. I'm in bed all tucked up. And I just decided, well, I'm really not happy with YouTube, to be honest. I want to like if the YouTube was a real person in front of me, I'd really feel like wringing their neck at the moment. They're being so unfair to channels that got a small following. They keep them out of the algorithm, so you don't get any chance of growth at all because your channels are not being seen, and the higher followers are getting all the views. And so it's not fair to the smaller ones who are working so hard, putting time and effort into their channels, and they're not getting seen. They're not getting put in the algorithm. And so I've actually had it out with them, going back a couple of weeks ago. But my views went from, say, 400 people viewing it, right? So I made a complaint. They shot up to 2,000 the day after I made the complaint. And then they went right back down again, and then they leveled out again. And then recently, the last one I did only reached 600, and it's like this one only got 4. So I thought, well, fuck it, I'll repost it and see what happens. And I'll keep reposting it until it gets the views that I want. But I've already said to them I'm going to write a letter to Ofcom because YouTube do have an unfair algorithm system. Even if you put it into AI, Chat GBT, even they know that YouTube has an unfair algorithm and that many people has already made complaints about the same thing. And so I'm going to write to Ofcom. In fact, ChatGPT wrote me an official letter to send. They've typed it out for me, and all I got to do is send it to to Ofcom and report them for it officially. So this is the reason why I was like really upset with YouTube, is because the people who has the smaller views don't get a chance to grow, and it's not fair for the time and effort people put in to their channels, and they're just not getting seen. And so, like I said, I made a complaint. So YouTube decides to write to me. And so they writes this lengthy email, but it was covering their asses. It was like all excuses, just covering their asses. They said, actually, my channel is performing normally. And I said, no, it's not. If you go back 6 months ago, I was doing at least 1,000 to 2,000 views per video, and it didn't matter. I could have 3 weeks off and I would still come back and get 1,000 to 2,000 views. I have 1 day off and I've lost 10 subscribers in 1 day, and I've go like literally dropped down to 400 views. I don't see that that's possible if you're not being tampered with. And so to me, as far as I'm concerned, YouTube is tampering with my channel. But I know I'm not the only one. But one voice alone, just us calling it out on YouTube, is not going to do fuck all. Do you know what I mean? I think we need to get together, get us a lawyer that would take us all on and take it on as an open case. And people just come in and add to it. We could all take YouTube down for that. But one voice just calling it out one at a time on YouTube is not going to make a difference. It needs massive numbers, like strength in numbers, in order to sort this situation out. Because I think it's unfair. It's got to a point where it's unfair. But anyway, as it happened, today I got offered a job. I got offered a job. It ain't where I live either. And I'm kind of, what do I do? And everyone's saying to me, go for it, go for it. But it means I won't be posting as often on YouTube because I'll be taken away from YouTube. So I'm in two minds what to do. But I got offered a job today, randomly. It's not spiritual either. It'll take me off my spiritual path slightly, but it'll be more money than what YouTube pays me. So it's kind of a no-brainer, really. YouTube's just a rip-off. So it would mean that I would have to come in once or twice a week on YouTube, whereas I've been trying to get quite a few readings in, as many as I can anyway. And it's mainly to make up the numbers, so I get paid. If you don't kind of bang your readings out, you don't get paid. And I don't like the energy a lot of the time because it's real bad. So I don't like posting too often with the energy being so rubbish. Yeah. It's a choice, I know. Um, the thing is, where I'm at right now, I don't leave my home. I don't go out, right? So, like, I thought to myself, how am I ever going to meet somebody when I don't leave my home? right? I never go out, and I'm not really. I did consider going on dating site, and I thought, well, I'm not really that into that dating site thing anymore. Whereas this new job, there's going to be people surrounding me all the time. I will have every opportunity to meet someone new in this new job. And my friend was like, she's like, literally, she's been singing my praises in. I had an interview on the phone earlier tonight with the boss, and I've already added him on Facebook. So I've got the boss already on Facebook as a friend. And so I'm kind of, I said, I'll let you know. I got 2 weeks to decide. And so this is what I'm going to do. I got 2 weeks to decide whether I want this new job or whether I just want to stay as I am. But the thing is, I'm not one for getting out my comfort zone. I'm nervous. And everyone says, how can you be nervous when you're on YouTube? But being on YouTube, I'm in my own home. And so it's different. Like means I got to leave my home to go somewhere, and I feel it's a bit like it's giving me anxiety, the thought of being out of my comfort zone. But it'd be the best thing I could do, I think, for me. It'll get me out and about. I'll be meeting people again, out and about. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be good for me. But at the same time, I'm nervous. But I can't believe I had an interview on the phone with the boss, and that wasn't planned. That was a random phone call. My friend said, such and such needs to speak to you. He's got jobs going, and I put your name forward. He's here now. I'll pass him over. I didn't even get no chance to say, I do want to speak to him, right, whether I don't. Anyway, he got on the phone, so it was like this proper interview. And he said to me, look, it's okay, your friend put your name forward and everything. He said, but I do need to see you face to face. So we need to have this conversation face to face. So I said, all right. So I'm meeting him, but I got 2 weeks to decide. But in that 2 weeks, I have to go and have a trial run with him, like for a couple of hours to have a trial run with him to see whether I would like it or not. So that's what I got to do. But it shocked me because it came out of nowhere. But that was in the reading today. An offer you can't refuse. That was in the reading today. Well, I thought it was a date. I didn't realize it was a job. I was gonna like, well, no one. I don't speak to anybody. I don't leave my home really, other than I went away for the weekend with friends. But otherwise, I'm here all the time. And so it just come out of the blue. So okay, well, he kind of already offered it to me, kind of gave it to me there and then on the spot, the job. He kind of offered it to me there and then. And like my friend, it was Donna that put my name forward, the girl that I was with at the weekend. She was like, Tonya would be the one for you. She do it. And she kind of put me forward. And she went, funny enough, he's right here with me now. I'll pass him over on the phone. So I didn't really have a lot of like say in it. I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to speak to him or not. Anyway, I kind of had this interview on the phone, and he kind of offered me the job there and then. So, but I said, like, can I have 2 weeks to think about it? And he said, yeah, okay. So I got 2 weeks to consider. But I'll tell you what it's all about if I decide to go there. I'm just gonna keep it stum for now because I'm in two minds. I don't know what to do about it. So I'll tell you what it's about after. If I decide to stay there and go there. But it's not where I live. I got to travel. I got to travel backwards and forwards. And my friend's like, well, you can stay at my house because it's not just daytimes, it's evening work as well. So it's like, well, I'd have to travel. And it's like, I don't want to travel on the night time. I don't want to have to come back on my own. And that's what I was saying. I don't want to have to drive back, like come back on my own in the dark. So, and because like we're coming out of the summer now, I'm thinking ahead if in the winter I got to come back. And I don't really want to have to come back on my own at night. So I said, is there any daytime hours you got? And he said, yeah, we got daytime hours. He said, he wants 20 hours a week. And I have to do weekends, which I'm not, I got to give up my weekends. And I'm a weekend girl. I likes my weekends. So I'm in two minds what to do. It came out the blue. I was real shocked. Yeah. Donna, she is completely wild. She is a wild child. Donna. I used to be wild with her, but I've calmed down quite a bit since then because I guess well, she's kind of just stayed the same, but I calmed down over the years a bit, but she stayed wild, and her husband is so he's their new husband. They've been married since April, and he is just real. He just lets her do it, just lets her do her thing, just keeps an eye on her, just lets her get on with it. He's totally placid and completely he's got a patience of a saint. Patience of a saint. Because she is wild. I mean, completely, like wild. Right? That's all I can say. And like I said, he just lets her get on with it. He just lets her get on with it. And I think they're such a beautiful couple together. I'm so happy for her. She's been on her own, I reckon, for 15 years. 15 years, something like that. She's been on her own. And so to see her now, she's married. It's her first husband now. This is her first marriage. So to see her together with her husband, I was absolutely like in awe of them both. I said to him, like, I'm so happy to, I said to him, his name's Simon, and I said to him, I'm so happy for her. She just looks so content and so happy that it's real lovely to see her like that because she's had a hard time in life, like a lot of us, and she's never married. And she's been a single parent to four children, and she's never married. And every like her guys have kind of like took off, and so she was a single parent. And it's hard when you're a single parent, you had nobody. And so she deserved to be with somebody who made her happy. And like he's a darling, an absolute darling. Me and him sat up. She got absolutely legless and she had to go to bed. So me and Simon sat up and watched boxing on Saturday night. We sat there and watched her boxing. Donna was fast asleep. He's as good as gold. He just puts her to bed. Like he says to her, right, I think it's time you need to go to bed now. He put her to bed and just let her get on with it. Good as gold. So I was real happy. I said to her, it's lovely to see him real happy. We had an absolute fabulous time at the weekend. Fabulous time. And like me and her, like my mum and her mother knew each other from a really young age. They met at the age of 16. They worked together. And Donna's mum was real glamorous. And back in the 60s, they used to have the black hair, the wings, and the beehive. And Donna's mom was like a perfect figure. She wore the stilettos. She was proper beautiful. And my mom was like a short chick, because my mom's smaller than me, and she was this short chick. She had a perfect figure, and she had the black hair, the beehive, and the wings on your eyeliner and that. But she just didn't know how to walk in heels. So Donna's mum taught her how to walk in heels and kind of with a wiggle. and um and so they became real good friends. They worked together and they became real good friends. And so as time went on, they kind of separated. They went their own ways a little bit. Like Donna's parents, like Donna's mum got married, and then so did my mum. And then they kind of got back together as friends as the kids got like a bit older. So I knew Donna from like young age, and so we kind of grew up together. We went to the same school and everything, and so we weren't friends at school as such. We never, because she's a year older than me. So she had older, like people that she used to go about with in school, and I had people I went about with in school. But after school hours, we was all together. Like we was all together, and so we all used to go about together and everything. And so, and as time went on, as we got older, me and Donna used to go out drinking together, and she's wild. We had wild nights out. And let me tell you, but that was back in the younger days, like I said. But she hadn't calmed down; she's still the same. And I don't drink like I used to either. And so we go out and about, and she's like, down this, down this, down. And I'm like, I can't drink like that, like I used to. So I stopped drinking. Like I had a couple of shots with her husband. We had a couple of shots. And the next day I woke up and I felt like crap. And I just don't drink like that anymore. Anyway, the next day I had a couple of drinks and I actually lasted longer than she did, but I didn't have any shots. So she got on the gin and I think that's what finished her. She had to go to bed. But we had a really lovely time. It was lovely. We just literally kind of got like, I haven't seen her since 2017. That was the last time I saw her. And like we got back together this weekend, like obviously I went away with them, and it's like we just pick up where we left off. It was like we've been away from each other. So we had a lovely, lovely time. And I spoke to her earlier as well. She rang me earlier, and that was when she put me on the phone to this boss man and said he needs staff. Are you interested in it? And I wasn't sure if I did or what I didn't. Because she went, oh, I'll put you on the phone. So I had this interview over the phone with this boss man. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want the job. And so I said to him, look, can I have a couple of weeks to think about it? Because I still got builders there. Like they were supposed to fix my door. They were supposed to put a fire door on. And basically, the fire door, there's a crack in it. And so they can't fit, they now have to change the whole door. So they were supposed to do it last week. He was here for about an hour last week. And then he said, I can't do it for an hour now. He said, I got to change the whole door because it's a fire door. There's chains that go through the middle of the door and they got to rebalance it and stuff. He said, it's going to take all day. He said, but I can't do it because there's a crack all down the bottom. He showed me, and where the hinge is at the bottom of the door, there is a crack that runs through the door. So they got to change the whole door. And so he had to go away and he's supposed to come back, but I don't know when they're coming back. But they're supposed to come back in the next week or so. So I said, well, it's pointless me saying, yeah, I'm going to go to this job when I got builders there. I'm not going to leave the home when I got builders there. So I said, well, give me a couple of weeks. Let me get the doors fixed and sorted out properly. And then I'll come over. He said, well, I want to see you face to face because it's all very well we chit chat on the phone and everything. But he wants to do a face-to-face interview. I'm having kittens. I haven't had an interview for years. I'm having kittens, really. It was just a total off-the-cuff thing. So I was like, okay. So I said, I'll wait till all this stuff's done with my door and everything. And then once all that's done, I'll see about this new job. But it wasn't expected. It was totally... Donna, she is a darling. She is an absolute darling. And she keeps saying, I fucking love you. That's how she speaks. Everything's a fuck. I fucking love you. I fucking love you. And I think that's what I said to her as well. I fucking love you. But, she is what she is, Donna. She's crazy. She don't mince her words. She's an Aries, so she's fiery. So she don't mince her words at all. She just says it how it is. And sometimes it can be a bit blunt. Like if she don't like people, she'll say, I don't fucking like you. Just comes out and says it. But it is what it is with her. She's straight down the line. You know where you are with her. She don't beat around the bush. And her mum was lovely. Her mum passed away going back a few years ago now. So her mum, Jenny, she passed away. So, oh no. Oh no, I'm going to have to get up. Oh, I don't want to have to get up, really. Let me have to take you with me, but I have to hold it up a minute out the way. Right, I got to get the charger because my battery's running low. So you have to take me with you. I'll take you with me to get the charger a minute. In here. Hold on. I got it. But I got to get back into bed a minute. Oh, I got to plug it in. Hold on. That's it. I didn't think for a second that I'd have to get out of bed. So let's get back into bed and tuck in. Right, tuck in. There. Yeah, so Right, I'm all tucked in. So yeah, so that was kind of like a real unexpected thing that I had an interview with the phone to this evening. I wasn't expecting that at all. But so I just got to see how it goes, really. So Donna's like, well, come over and stay at my place. She said, come over and stay. And so I'm going to go over there in the next, I don't know when, the next week or so. I'll go and stay with her. And then I got to go to this pub and have an interview with this, his name's Tim. So I got to go and have an interview with this Tim guy and see, you know. But Donna said, yeah, like you, don't worry, Tonya, you're like me. And I thought, well, I was back in the day, but I'm quiet now. I'm not wild like I used to be. So I don't really know, really. I used to be like, do you know what I mean? I chit chat to anybody. Whereas now I'm a bit more quieter than I used to be. And I've got like I'm already getting anxiety, the thought of actually meeting new people. But I suppose I gotta do it really. I gotta force myself to get out and about because otherwise I'd stay a hermit forever, I reckon. Yeah. But I would stay a hermit forever if I could. But it is time I kind of got out and did stuff. Got out and about and had a good time and see people, got to meet people. And I did say, didn't I? Oh, I do even, sometimes I freak myself out with what my own words on what I say on, like, because I don't realize I resonate with these readings. A lot of the times I don't, but there are times that I do. And today I was saying like, oh, I might join a dating site and no, but then I might not. I'll go out the old fashioned way and meet people the old fashioned way, not realizing I was going to have an interview that night. And what I was going to be doing, I'm going to be meeting people. Tiffany Jackson, hi, love. Hi, Paul Woodgate. Nice to see you nice. Hi, Rita Lang as well, because I see she just sent a message. So, like, I think she's just commented on one of my other videos. So, hey. Hi, Tiffany Jackson. I do very often get to do this. So I'm having a hot flush now. I'm more hot and bothered. So it's like, it's nice to actually like have a chit chat because normally when I do the readings, I don't very often go live. So when I do the readings, I don't get chance to like interact with you a lot and chit chat. So it's nice to like just chit chat like we would as if we're all like in the same room. Do you know what I mean? It's nice. The hipster beehive. My dad used to look like John Travolta. He had the jet black hair. He had green eyes. Just gorgeous looking, he looked just like John Travolta. He looked like a movie star, my dad. Like he don't look like that now. I mean, he's older now. But back in the day, when he was about 16, he used to work on for the Navy. And he had a picture, and he just looks absolutely proper handsome, my dad. Very handsome. And my mum, I got a photograph of I actually got their video of their wedding. I got a video of their wedding day. And they were a gorgeous looking couple, my parents. Like my dad had the black hair like John Travolta, all greased back, green eyes, and my mum got blue eyes and she had black hair, beehive, and the wings. The I tell you who also looked like that. Priscilla Presley when she married Elvis. She looked just like that too. And I guess it was a 60s thing. So Sheila was gorgeous looking as well, Priscilla Presley, and obviously Elvis. And that's kind of like what my parents looked like back in the day. They were gorgeous. In the video with Donna, me and Donna. Yeah. I had to cover a lot over because there was a lot of swearing on it. So I had to dub it over with music. So you couldn't hear a lot of the things we were saying because there was a lot of swearing going on. So I had to dub it over with a lot of music. But yeah, she's totally like wild. That's all I can say for Donna. She is what she is, and I just love her for it. She has always been like that. Me and her, you both used to have wild times. Like when I was younger, we used to live in a pub. We used to live in a pub when I was like, I reckon 11 to the age of 15. I lived in a pub. So my mum and my stepdad, they ran a pub. I used to have invite all my friends in, and we'd have like lots of sleepovers there with all our friends. We used to invite the school over to have sleepovers. It was 100 years old, our pub, and it used to creak and crack, and they like people used to get all scared, and it never used to scare me at all. I never used to get scared, but like the people who never had ever like kind of stayed there before, they used to feel it was creepy, but I loved it. And then when we left, it was like later on, Donna's mum, she ended up with a pub. And me and her used to have lock-ins. So like her mum would go away for the weekend and Donna would run the pub with me. Oh, we got up to some things during that time where, I can't really tell you. It was just, when you're younger, you do things, don't you? And you look back and you think, shit, man, were we really that wild? Yeah. And we did laugh about it, the things that we did when we were younger. We did laugh. But is memories, and we were laughing about the memories of the lock-ins. I used to walk into the pub and for some reason I must have started singing, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz. And apparently when I walked into the pub one day, everyone in the pub started singing it to me. Here she is, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz. And I must have started singing it it must have been a drunken night and I started singing it and it kind of stuck. And then when I walked into the pub, every time I walked in, they would all sing it to me. Here she is then. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? And I think I tried to manifest a Mercedes Benz, but I wasn't so lucky because I never got one. Yeah, I'm going to do a trial. I'm going to do a day's trial with the boss, Tim. I'm going to do a day's trial with Tim and see how I get on. We did say that on the phone. So I haven't got to worry about committing straight away to a full on job. So you said you wanted 20 hours, but I mean, I may go full time depending. So depending how I get on there. But it's like, I got to meet him at the pub because this is where they're going to be. So I got to meet him at a pub. So luckily I'll have a couple of drinks and everything, so I'll be all right when I meet him, but I don't want to be like wrecked or anything because meeting a new boss, like. But Donna put my name forward straight away. She went, Tonya be perfect for this job. She'd be perfect. And I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to, but anyway, I spoke to him on the phone, like without realizing I just had an interview. So I got to meet him. I think we said I'll meet him next week or something like that, or the week after. I said, can I have 2 weeks to think about it? Because I'm not sure. It's stepping out my comfort zone. I'm good in me hermit mode. But I know if I don't get out of hermit mode, I'll never get out. So Donna's like, you can do it. You can stay at my place. You'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. So I was like, oh, all right then. So I kind of got talked into it. It was one of those things I had to kind of almost make a decision there and then. But I did say to Tim on the phone, like, can I let you know? And then like, can I have 2 weeks kind of so I can think about it and get this building stuff done and then think about it sort of thing. So that was it. I am nervous. I do feel a bit nervous. Like when I was on the phone to him, I was like getting all sweaty palms and everything. It's stepping outside your comfort zone. And yet Donna said, but you're on YouTube. You got 5,000 subscribers, you chit chats. And I said, yeah, but it's different. I'm in my room. I'm in my own home. I'm not on a stage with 5,000 people. I'm at home. It's different. So, I just, it's gaining that confidence, isn't it? To kind of step outside your comfort zone and, you know. Hayley Willis, mwah, 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 lovely to see you. Home sweet home. Yeah, I know that's the thing. I likes being at home, but I think that's my comfort zone, and I think that's what I need to kind of try and get out of my comfort zone. And that's what Donna said. You need to get out. You need to get out more. And so she's kind of pushing me to get out, and I think I'll be grateful for it after. I'll be grateful after a while. I'll be like, well, I'm glad I did that. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, Jenny, being in crowds. This is what I'm a bit kind of nervous about. It's going to be meeting a lot of people, and I'm a bit nervous. Like it's one thing kind of like Donna said, I don't understand it. Like you're real confident on YouTube. I said, well, I'm in my room, I'm at home, I'm in my room. And it's like, to me, it's just, it's my comfort zone. But being out and about and having to get out and about and meet people again. I mean, I should be all right because I'm a hairdresser. So I should be all right to chit chat. I haven't got a problem chit chatting. But like when you meet new people, I feel too shy and I get nervous. I don't want to speak. It's like I'm like mute all of a sudden. And I don't want to speak. Thank you so much, Rescue Queen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I will get a trial run. I will, because I did say I get a trial run. So I will do a trial run before I actually make a commitment to it. But I am like lots of people don't realize I'm actually real shy. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I kind of struggle when I go out now because I'm home all the time. So when I'm with people, I kind of get anxiety. It's almost like a a social anxiety almost. Do you know what I mean? When I go out now, I get a bit of anxiety. But it's because I'm kind of comfort in my comfort zone at home and I chit chats and I don't think people realize that I'm actually really quite quiet, you know. And I may seem like I'm confident, but like I'm in my own home. So I can be who I want to be and do what I want. Do you know what I mean? But when I go out, it's like I'm mute. I don't want to speak. And I like people say hello and I go, hey. And I might blush and do you know what I mean? I just don't know what to say when I go out anymore. I'm rubbish. Hey Mark Holmes. Who's being held for a review? What did they do? Who got held for a review? Was it Mark or what did he say? Yeah, I know, but I still like. Do you know I was real sociable because I was always out. There really wasn't a time I was at home. This is like the only time I've really been in this time. But I think it's because a lot of damage got done, over the years with the trauma of being, abused and stuff. A lot of damage got done. So being at home would become my safety zone. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of like I came from where I live now. I was in a safe house and I came from the safe house to where I'm at now. And so this became my safety zone. And so to step out of it is like, which is why I started doing YouTube because I thought, well, what can I do? Because I want to do something, but I like, what can I do to kind of build my confidence up? And that's the reason, kind of like, in a way, why I started doing YouTube was to build up the confidence. And now I got to step out beside of YouTube. I can't go out. And it's like, I'm kind of real nervous, really. I do feel a little bit nervous about it, but it'd be fine. It'd be fine. So, what is everyone up to today? Have you all had a good day today? Tell me what you're doing today, or what you've done today, or what you're about to do today. Like, I want to know what your lot are doing. You're a Virgo hermit. Do you have are you a Virgo, or in general, or you have got Virgo in your chart? You're Virgo sun. I know Ozzy Osbourne. I know. R.I.P. to Ozzy Osbourne. He had a good life. He had a wild life. I know my life wasn't as wild as his, I must admit, but he had a wild life. He had a good life. Well, thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate that kind compliment. Thank you. Yes, Virgo sun. I got Virgo in my chart somewhere. I'm a Libra. I got Virgo in my chart somewhere, but I'm not can't remember where. I'm a Libra sun. I think is Aquarius moon, Libra rising, and I think I don't know where else I am. And I got Pisces. Pisces is also very prominent in my chart as well. Social anxiety. Agoraphobia, fear of open spaces. Well, I don't really have a fear of open spaces. I think what happened with me is that I was traumatized. I was in a violent relationship and I was traumatized. So I came from where I was to here, and this became my safety zone. And it's like I don't very often leave my safety zone to do anything. I do everything at home. And so I think that was the problem. I kind of got stuck in a rut in my safety zone, and it's kind of now having to step out of your safety zone to get back out into the world. And I've had like 7 years here, and I've been in my safety zone for 7 years, and it is a time that I kind of got out and about and started doing things again. And I don't think people understand the trauma. It's 11/11, by the way, 23/11. So it's 11/11 right in a second. So um So it's like a safety zone that I've become used to, kind of being home and doing everything I need to do from my own home. And then stepping out of it, I do get a bit anxious at times. And I think people don't realize that, because I'm kind of like the life and soul of the party still, but in my own home. So I don't have a fear of open spaces. I just get a bit anxiety going out now, where I'm so used to being home and in my comfort zone. When I go out, I get a bit of anxiety going out and about now. But I kind of like, I'm all right with when I'm surrounded by people I know. I'm good. But it's kind of like getting out that comfort zone to kind of, you know, kind of taking that step out, and that's kind of like a big thing for me. And I am a hairdresser, so I'm used to talking to people anyway. That's what we do. We chit chat. You become a counselor pretty well when you're a hairdresser, because you listen to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So you do become like a counselor. And I was always like in people's company, and my mum had her own shop. She had her own hairdresser's business. And I used to work for her, but she really put me off hairdressing. She was a bad boss, like a real terrible boss, and it put me off for life, hairdressing. And I was a good hairdresser too. And my forte is cutting. My mother's was color. She could look at somebody's hair and say, that don't suit you at all. If you're blonde, naturally blonde, and you go from blonde to dark, you look washed right out. It do not suit you. And I'm dark. And if the blonde don't suit me. I don't know how I'm going to manage. I'm going grey, but I don't know how I'm going to fucking manage, because it don't suit me. It just looks awful. Eventually, I will have to go grey, but right now I'm not ready. But my mum could look at you and she was like excellent with colours. And I think I got that one. There was a one time that somebody come in and she said I got green hair, and she came in, it was bright green, and I seem to remember I was training and I said, oh, she needs red in that, and red takes the color of green out. So if you go from blonde and you want to go brown, say, or black, for example, you have to put red in that color, because if you don't, even if it has to be, even if it's food coloring, like 1 to 2 drops of even food coloring, it takes the green out in the hair. And so she came in, this woman came in one day with bright green hair, and she was like, oh my God, crying, freaking out. I've got green hair, help. So my forte was like somebody would come in and I would transform them. And I would love that. Not very often would you get that, but I would love the people who come in, I would do their hair and makeup and I would transform them. They would come in like almost like an ugly duckling, and I would send them out looking like a swan. And they look gorgeous. Like, it was stunning. I've often done that, changed people's whole look, and they look stunning when they've left. Like, and they look like you wouldn't even recognize them. They're that gorgeous. And it's like people hide sometimes from with their, you can do so much to hair. And even just a tiny bit of makeup. I've done weddings where my friend, no, my sister's sister-in-law, she was like, she wasn't very up with together with the fashion. It was like back in the 80s, 90s. It was in the 90s where perms were in and things like that. And people had curly hair. But she just had like curly hair. It was all fuzzy. It wasn't like anything particularly. And my sister said she's getting married, and you got to do something with her. You got to do something. She can't get married looking like that. And I felt, but she meant it in the nicest possible way. It wasn't like rude. It was like she needs her hair done. Do you know what I mean? I transformed her. She was stunning, and no one recognized her. She was absolutely stunning when I finished with her. And I love that, like transforming people and making people look completely different to how they originally came in. And I had this woman, she came in with long hair, and she said, I want it short. And she said she just had a divorce, and she was transforming herself at that time. You know, when they say that if a woman cuts her hair, she's changing her life. And she really was. She had like a pixie cut. Oh my God. She looked absolutely gorgeous with this pixie cut. It only suits certain people. And she looked gorgeous. I did her makeup. I put eyelashes on her. Oh, wow. She went out. Everyone was like double taking her. She was stunning. Absolutely stunning when she left. And I used to really enjoy transforming people. They'd come in looking just normal, and they'd go out looking like a princess, stunning. And I really loved that. That was kind of like what I used to do when I was hairdressing. It did give her more confidence. My sister's, it was her sister-in-law. Like, I can't remember what her name was, because this was like back in the 90s. So I can't remember what her sister-in-law was called. They're not together now, but she was like this. She was like, I have to always describe her without being rude. I don't want to be rude. She was really frumpy, and I don't mean to be rude. It wasn't like I'm saying this because I want to disrespect her or anything like that. She was like a tomboy, and so she just wore clothes like a man. Do you know what I mean? And so she looked like a princess. I mean, seriously. Her hair was stunning. When I got out all the curls, I straightened it for her, and I got out all the curls. And back in those days, in the 90s, it was quite unusual because everybody had curly hair. It was really unusual to have kind of like straight hair. Excuse me, I got a dry throat now where I've been chatting. And so I kind of put a tiara on her, did her nails, her hair, her face. But when she opened her mouth, don't speak, don't speak. Because the first thing she came out of her mouth was fucking ow. It was like, she looked great, if just don't speak. And but she walked down the aisle, and everyone was like, they double took her because she just looked so stunning. Yeah, well, I grew up in hairdressing, and my mother is a hairdresser, and I was always going to be one right from a young age. I'll show you a picture. I'll find it a second of me and my sister. So basically, we both had long hair, and she cut my hair off, and I cut her hair off. Now my hair looked fucked. I mean, seriously fucked. It was all scraggly. There was bits hanging down, like it was all. Do you know what I mean? It was like uneven. Now hers, admittedly, it kind of went to a side, but it was straight. And I was two. I cut her hair perfectly straight, like. So I was always going to be the hairdresser. Like, she was never a hairdresser. She worked in an office. So I was always the hairdresser, and I always like studied. I used to watch, and my mum did it. And I used to cut my dolly's hair off, and I hated it because it never grew back. And so I was always cutting dolly's hair and things like that. And my mum would go nuts because obviously none of it ever grew back because it was like a doll, not a human. I didn't realize that they never grew back because I thought everybody's hair grew back. So yeah, like that's like kind of like my thing was a hairdresser, and I did that straight from school. I left school and I did hairdressing, went straight to college and did hairdressing from college, from school. So I did that. Then I did eyebrow tattooing. I did that. I was going to do an aesthetics course, and what happened was we went all the way to Leeds, which is quite away from Bristol. It's about 2 or 3 hour drive. We went for the course, and we had to do a week's course. We did all that. And then we were sent away because we had to do a portfolio. And then we were sent away to do the portfolio. I got a really dry throat now where I'm chatting. And then COVID hit us. And we paid £7,000 for this course. And COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, their company went bankrupt. So we couldn't finish, we couldn't qualify. Their company went bankrupt. To do the course again, it would have cost another 7,000. I mean, people just don't have that to redo another course. You know, it was a lot of money. And they went bankrupt during COVID. And so I wasn't able to qualify. Otherwise, I would have been aesthetics. I would have done eyebrow tattooing and that sort of thing. Semi-permanent tattooing. And I was right into that at the time. I was going to do Botox and all that sort of thing. And never ever got around to finishing. Couldn't qualify. So that annoyed me. Hold on, let me just grab a drink a minute. Yeah, so I was going to do that. And then and then I kind of always were brought back to tarot. Like, and how that come about was my son's 30 next year, March. My son couldn't have been a year old, and we used to buy a newspaper. And in the newspaper came 3 tarot cards, and you got to buy quite a few papers on the run in order to get your deck. It was the Lovers, the 3 of Swords, and there was one other, and I can't remember what that other one was. But I remember looking at 3 of Swords and thinking, what the fuck is that all about? And the Lovers. And the only time I seen the Lovers card was, is it Octopussy? James Bond? And she had the Lovers card. What was her name? I can't think of what her name was. And that was the only time I really seen tarot cards. I never really seen tarot cards, but I always had spirituality in me. I was always one that said stuff that would happen. I didn't realize I would say stuff and it would happen. And I said to my friend, we went on holiday, and I said to my friend, her dad was really ill, and I said, if you don't say goodbye to your dad, you're going to regret that forever. We took her dad out for a drink. to the pub, and I got that photograph of snuggling up with her dad and cheers in his drink. He died while we were on holiday. And we knew he wasn't very well, but we didn't realise he was dying ill. Do you know what I mean? But if I wouldn't have said to her, say goodbye to your dad, she never would have. And I used to think that somebody was going to die, and often they would if I said, oh my God, is it such and such? And it turned out that they had passed away. And every time it goes, I go on holiday, somebody dies. And that's what I hate going on holiday now, because it was my it was like I always worried a case, because I lived with my gramps. From the age of 11 until I got married, I lived with my grandfather. He was the one who raised me, really. He was my mum, my dad, and my grandfather all in one. And I worried if I went on holiday, he was going to die, and I wouldn't, I was always worried about him. I adored him. He was just so cute. And I was worried in case I went on holiday and he'd go. I mean, he's gone now, bless him, but he died only a few years ago. He was 85 when he died. So he had a good life. He did have a good life, love him. He was the bestest man in my world anyway. He was my mum and my dad all in one. I'd get him up and wake him up for party night. I'd go out for drinking with my friends, like, and I'd say, come on, you gotta get up, it's time to get up. I'm struggling to speak now, hold on. My voice has gone real, like, dry, where I've been chit-chatting. I think this is the most I chit-chatted since the weekend. It's making my eyes run and everything. I got a dry throat, my eyes are running and everything, but yeah, I'd wake him up, I'd jump on his bed and say, you gotta get up, there's a drink downstairs for you, it's got your name on it, get up, it's a whiskey. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd jump on his bed, say, come on, you gotta get up, we're having a party. He never minded. Yeah, I think he enjoyed the company because he was on his own if I wasn't there, so he enjoyed the company. He was as good as gold. I loved him dearly. You don't like what, Gemma? Sorry? The crimpers. Jenny, the crimpers. That reminds me, who was about, I think 15 or 16 when crimpers come in. And that was Girls Just Want to Have Fun, wasn't it? Cindy Lauper. I was 16 when that song come out. Yeah, my gramps drank whiskey. He was a whiskey and pep drinker. So I grew up around whiskey. I lived in a pub as well, so I always grew up around alcohol. So my family are drinkers. They like not like alcoholic drinkers, but they like a drink. Social drinking. So I always grew up around alcohol. And so my gramps was a whiskey drinker, but now and again he wasn't like an alcoholic or anything like that either. He was a real quiet guy, my gramps. Very quiet. Until I kind of started living with him and I got him out of his shell. Come on, it's time to get up. And I jump on his bed. Get up. There's a whiskey down there with your name on it. And he'd get up. He wouldn't have it. He'd get up. He used to give me £2, right? Because I'd go night clubbing with my friends. And he'd give me £2 for like KFC. And he'd say, you have to come back and you have to bring me some KFC back. So I'd say, all right, well, I spent his drink. I spent his KFC money when we were out on the taxi or whatever. And I said to the taxi, I used to argue, but then luckily the taxi driver, I knew him, I grew up with him. He was like a dad to me. Vernon, his name was. And I'd argue with Vernon, the taxi driver, please stop and get some chicken. Because if I go home with no chicken, there's going to be like ruptions when I get home with my grabs. He's not going to be happy. He's starving. He'd be waiting all night for his chicken. He probably would have gone all night without no tea. and I had to bring his chicken home, right? And so me and the taxi driver would argue like crazy. Please stop. And he'd say, bloody hell, Tonya. Like, and I'd say, look, you're gonna have to take it out with Kenny. If I don't bring it back, he's gonna go nuts. So in the end, he'd go, all right. So we stop. He really didn't want to stop. But we'd stop at the chicken shop, bring back a load of chicken. So I'd have a whiskey downstairs. I'd pour him a whiskey and I'd have his chicken there. So I'd like literally go up on his bed, jump on him and say, come on, we got to come down. You got whiskey down there and chicken. And it was back in the day. You remember when it was like we didn't have mobile phones back in the day, so it was like the coil, the phone that you. Well, basically, like we had one downstairs, and the phone was always ringing. It was for me, and where I used to take it upstairs, it was stretched, so the coil went like a little like thing. It used to reach right upstairs where I stretched all the coil out. You know you have to put your finger in it and turn the dial like 8 2 and then if you didn't put the phone down, it'd go wee wee it'd make this alarm. And people would ring me, and my stepbrother used to get slung out with his wife because he'd cheat, right? He'd always stay at my house. And I'd say, well, I don't really, like Wendy, she'd sling him out, and my stepbrother would then chuck a stone at my window. T, wake up. So I'd wake up with this stone in my window. I'd look out the room, and it'd be my stepbrother. His wife would sling him out. He'd gone out cheating somewhere. So he'd say, can I come in? Wendy's locked me out. So I'd have him in. So like my gramps would wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go down and make you a cup of tea. And I'd say, you'd have to go down and make Gary one as well because he's downstairs. Oh, it's funny, the things that we used to do back in the day. But he said, I'll never get old, he said, with you being here, because he used to have to run up and down the stairs all the time. Like, Tonya, the phone. And if I couldn't hear, because I had my hairdryer going or whatever, he would have to run up the stairs and give me the phone. And it was like I said, it was stretched right out. Where I used to like stretch all the coil out from downstairs. I'd make it reach all the way upstairs to reach me. And like there was like hold the back at, I mean, the stories I could tell you was hilarious, really. When I look back now, I think, God, did I actually do that? Right, there was a riot, right? There was a riot going on. And me and my friend wanted to go clubbing, and our taxi driver wouldn't come collect us because the riot was kicking off. So we said, can you get as close as you can then? So he said, yeah. So I was going out, and my gramps went, you ain't going out. You're not going out. Are you? Is all kicking off right there in town? It's only kicking off in this area. In town is fine, right? And we got to walk like a mile down the road because that was the closest the taxi driver was willing to get to us. And I'm not fucking, this is no exaggeration. I'm not kidding. We just come out the pub, we had drinks in our hands, right? And there's this riot like kicking off with these guys and it was proper rioting. They were throwing petrol bombs and glass and throwing punches, and I mean it was proper bad. And we went, oi, we're going clubbing, let us by. And they literally stopped. It was like the parting of Jesus with the water. Do you know what I mean? Let them by. I'm not fucking kidding. They stopped, they let us walk through, and then they carried on fighting after we left. I cannot believe they did that, but they did that. We're like, cheers then, you can carry on now. They literally stopped and let us walk by. And they didn't, like, none of them, we never got harmed because it was all men that was fighting. It wasn't women. It was only men. And I can't remember. It was like two areas that were clashing. They just didn't like each other and they started clashing. And so that's what happened. And we're like, wait, we need to get through. Like, our taxi's about down that way. And the only way we could get to our taxi was go through the middle of this riot. And so we asked them if they could stop while we walked through, and they did. Oh dear, the things we did. We laughed and we still said we can't. No, I wouldn't even dream of doing that. That would be terrified to even like go attempt to go near people like scrapping like that and fighting. But back in the day, we just didn't care. And my friend used to get us slung out the taxis all the time. Like she would offend the driver all the time. And I'd say to her before we get in the car, please, please don't offend the driver. We gotta get home. It's like we gotta make sure we get home. And she'd say, all right, I won't. I promise I won't. And then we get in the taxi driver and then she'd start on the driver again. Anyway, one driver decided he was gonna sling us out. He was gonna sling us out. So he reached back, he was driving, he reached back, opened the door, and tried throwing her out. I got hold of her, keeping her in, and saying, like, you know, she ain't going nowhere. I was saying to her, please just stop insulting the driver because we have to get home. And she was like, she carried on, she thought it was hilarious. So anyway, eventually the driver pulls up and decides that you two gotta get out. And we were like, well, you took us to our destination. You know, I don't care. Get out. So he slung us out the taxi and we flagged a police car and said, can you take us home? We got no money. The drivers of the taxi slung us out. The police took us home. And they were happy to do so. They were happy to get us off the roof. Oh dear, the things we did when we were younger. I gotta laugh. It makes me laugh when I look back. I mean, God, I can't believe we did all that, but we did. We had a laugh. I mean, I could tell you loads of stories. And I actually, when I like sit with the friends that I've had this fun with, we literally cry with laughter because it's not something you dream of even doing now. But back in the day, we had so much fun and we did have a laugh. Right. Anyway, Jenny, what's the time at your place? Is it early? Is it late in the evening? What time is it? What's the time? It's like 11:30, isn't it, Air? 11:30 at night. What's the time is it with you? 10:35. Oh, on Thursday, AM. Blimey. Oh yeah, you're a day in front, aren't you? You're a whole day in front. Because it's still Wednesday at the moment. It's still Wednesday here. Well, we're not 12 o'clock yet. We're only half 11. But anyway, I'm going to get going because I'm going to snuggle up now. I'm having a hot flush, so I need to kind of get out from this blanket. I can't breathe. I'm all hot. So I'm going to get going now. But it's been lovely catching up with you lot. I love you all out. And I'll catch up with you on the next video. All right? Love you. Thank you, Jenny, for being my moderator, love. Thank you so much. All right. Bye. Night night. Night night.